What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video here. Unfamiliar scene right now. I'm actually in traffic driving to the strip, and I'm gonna play some cash games, something I really just haven't done much in general here in Vegas. I don't play much cash, but I've got a special one here. I'm going to the Aria to play in their private Table 1 game hosted by Art and Justin Young. They're doing some really cool things with content and trying to just grow out the game of poker, and especially in the private sense, to everyone on Twitter, on YouTube and stuff. So they've got a podcast, they're posting some new merch, and it's an exciting time. So happy to check it out. First time playing in this game. I think we're playing 5100, and should be a good time. So I'm looking forward to playing this game. The next video you're gonna see here, I just wanna tease a few things. I've got some really cool travel plans. I'm going to the WPT voyage in a couple days. So the next video you're gonna see, hopefully I'll be on the ship, playing some tournaments, some cash games, and just vlogging life on the WPT voyage. I'm looking forward to that very, very much. Secondly, on top of that, after the WPT voyage, I'm going to Australia as well for another WPT event. So I can't wait. I loved Australia the first time I went, if you watched those videos, and I'm super excited to go back. So got a couple exciting few weeks ahead of me. But for those who are watching this video right now, real time, one event that you can travel to is that WPT Global is hosting another main event in Montreal at the Playground. The event is going to take place in early May, first 2 weeks of May here, and there's also going to be a meetup game. I won't be a part of it, but other familiar, friendly faces around the poker community will be, so I'll have the information on the screen and in the link below if you guys want to check that out. Early May, WPT Global Championship live event in Montreal. Looking forward to seeing the results there. So anyways, let's get into the video, this cash game. I'm gonna play 5100 and hoping to make some progress in this road to $1 million. Let's start off this 5100 game at the Aria with a $50,000 buy-in, and we're getting immediately involved with Ace-9 offsuit to start off this session. I'm in middle position and I raise it up to 300 bucks, and I get called by 3 opponents. Going 4 ways to a flop of Ace-Jack, a top pair is always nice to see, but hey, we're multi-way, so I want to be a little bit more cautious with a medium strength top pair. Action checks around. Now, off to a turn, which comes a queen. Now the board is a little bit more connected, and still, I don't really love betting with just a medium strength 1 pair holding here, so actually going to check to the last player who's in position and fires out $1,500. Almost a pot-sized bet, a little bit more than a pot-sized bet, and I'm a little bit suspicious about this, but hey, I'm unfamiliar with how these guys play, so happy to just make the call right now, although not loving my situation. So we're going to go heads up to a river, which comes an ace. So banking trips, which is really nice. I check, and my opponent checks back, so feels like I didn't get any value in this hand, and I show my hand expecting to win, but hey, he has 10-9 for a straight, so it looks like I lose the medium. I certainly didn't lose the minimum since he bet so big on the turn, but hey, nice to not lose more on the river card here. In the following hand, picking up pocket kings, gotta love that spot here where there's a low jack raise to $300. I'm next to act to his left and make it $1,200. We get the cutoff and button player to both make the call for $1,200. So we've certainly got some action here at this table. And now the low jack original raiser goes all in for $11,000. This is quite the action I was looking to see. So obviously I am happy to make the call for 11K with pocket kings. The other 2 players behind fold, and we decide to run it twice as he says he has an ace. I'm always happy to go with whatever my opponent wants to. And the first run out gives me top set. That is pretty nice. And the second run out, well, he flops an ace. I don't have much hope to improve here, and he improved the trips, and I am going to be losing the second one. So we end up just chopping up the pots. A little bit annoying, a little frustrating when you get it in with kings and you pretty much don't make any money. We just chop up the pots. Nice hand to my opponent, but moving on, we got another premium ace king of clubs. I'm in the small blind, and there's a player who raises the $300. 2 opponents make the call, and now here, out of position, I decide to 3-bet to $2,000, especially since, you know, everyone else is pretty deep stacked. We get the original raiser who made it 300, makes the call, but then the next opponent to act just goes all in for $17,000. Wow, once again, it is time to play another big all-in pot. Of course, I make the call for 17K because how can I ever fold with ace-king suited? Now back to the original raiser, and he goes into the tank for a long, long time. This opponent has about 25,000 left in his stack. And this would be massive if he does make the call, but then he ends up announcing he's not going all in. So not sure what this means, not sure what he has, but he ends up folding, which is very good for me. Now we're heads up against my opponent. He said he doesn't care how many times he runs it. So if he's going to leave me with a decision on how many times to run up the board, I say one time, please. We're going for blood. No more chopping here. And the run out is, well, a little scary, to be honest with you. I'm sitting with no pair, but he says ace king is good, so I win. That is pretty nice. To finally win it all in, I guess my opponent has ace queen or just a whole lot of nonsense and want to go after it. Anyways, it's always nice to scoop up a $34,000 pot here just like that. And the original raiser who tanked for so long said he had pocket deuces. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky that he ended up folding, but crazy he had such a right read wanting to call a $17,000 all in with deuces. Moving along, another premium, picking up pocket jacks in the straddle. Get Chino to limp under the gun here, and when action folds to me with a $200 straddle on, I make it $1,000. Then my opponent limp raises to $4,000. A little bit confused here, to be honest with you, about what's happening. Haven't played against this strategy before, but he's obviously a very good opponent. I make the call and hope to see a good flop. Well, when the flop comes ace jack high, well, it went from a not very fun spot to be in to an incredible spot to be in. I check it to my opponent here, and Chino decides to throw out a bet of $2,500. I obviously will not go anywhere. I don't think I want to check raise here. That seems really strong. I just make the call. The turn comes another ace, bringing in a backdoor flush draw. How sick is that? Improving to a full house. I'm hoping my opponent has ace king now at this point. I check once again, and my opponent fires out $8,000. Again, I don't think I have much of a decision to do since he's sized up here. I'm just going to make the call, because how strong does it look to check raise now at this point when the ace pairs the board? Now we're off to a river, which comes the 9 of diamonds. The flush draw does complete, which is a little bit annoying. Maybe I can't get the maximum against trips, but still have to try. Actually going to go check, check here. So no more betting on this river card, and I'm going to win this one with pocket jacks after flopping a set. Pretty incredible start to the session so far. If only my kings held the first time, but hey, we don't have to think about that, because the next hand we see, the pocket kings once again. The premiums keep on rolling. We're on the button with the $200 straddle on, and there's a low jack who makes it $500. Well, I am not going to go anywhere as I 3-bet him to $1,500, and my opponent makes the call. So in a 3-bet pot, in position, and it comes queen, 7, deuce, 2 hearts. My opponent checks it over to me here, and I think a half pot bet is probably the best move. So, we want to get some money in the middle. I have an overpair. There are some draws. I make it $1,500. I didn't make it an exact half pot sizing here, but for $1,500, my opponent calls once again. So off to a river, which comes to 6. Doesn't really change the board too much. And on a brick like this, definitely time to size up. So when my opponent checks again, definitely got to throw out another bet as I have such a premium holding. I make it $5,000, and sadly, it's a little bit too much as he folds this time. So hey, I don't make the maximum, but still getting chips pushed my way before looking down at another premium hand, ace king. Man, it really is not going to stop for me today. I raise up to $300. I get the small blind to 3-bet me to $1,200. And with ace king, a hand as pretty as this, I think I'm going to make it $3,600, a full 3x in position here. And my opponent makes the call for $3,600. So over $7,000 into the middle. And it is not a good looking flop when it comes 8 high. Bunch of low cards with ace king. This board is not going to favor me too much. So when my opponent checks it over to me here, I certainly have a decision to either bet or check, and I think I want to lean more towards the checking option. Ace king, ace high can be good a lot of the time. Not really a spot I want to dump a bunch of money into the middle, so let's check it back and see a free turn card, which comes another low card, a 3. That is unfortunate. The board is getting worse and worse for me, and my opponent fires out $5,000. I expect him to understand that, hey, this is a pretty good board for him, so he's going to be betting a lot and betting a little bit bigger. And there's nothing I can really do with ace king. I feel a little bit handcuffed, so time to let my cards go and fold. So the crazy part about all the hands you just watched here is that all of these hands happened in 1 hour. Yes, I am 1 hour into the session, and all of these massive hands all happened. So I've certainly been getting very active and busy. And this next one, it's quite the doozy because I'm in the $200 straddle and we see some degenerate activity as the $400, $800, and $1,600 straddle is on. Oh my goodness. And just like that, action folds to me and I see ace jack off suit. Looking at everyone else's stacks, the $800 straddle has the most amount of money with over $50,000 in front of them, so I can't really just go all in here, although I certainly could considering how big the straddle and blinds are. So we're playing $1,600 big blind effective, so I make it $5,000. Action quickly folds around to the $1,600 straddle, and he's all in. Oh my god, I mean, looking at a stack, he has about $25,000, and given the straddle amount, I don't think I can really fold ace jack here, as he can be folding lots of worse hands than me, or hands that are flipping against me. And sadly, this is not one of those times where we're flipping, because I call and he has pocket queens. So pretty tough to run into queens here. This is the biggest pot we're going to play out of the entire night for sure. And suddenly, it looks like I'm going to lose $25,000 worth of profits. And of course, when we run it, queens is going to hold and win. A little bit frustrating at the variance, considering, well, we just played stakes 16 times bigger than normal, given all the straddles. So very unlucky due to the straddles, and I had to commit my entire stack in there with ace jack. So I'm going to lose this one, but before we enter one of the last hands of the night, and this is also an incredible doozy, the ungun player limps in for $100. Middle position also limps in for $100, and then the cutoff to my right raises to $500. I have pocket tens on the button, and this is a pretty strong hand, but a very suspicious line here. I expect the ungun player to re-raise a lot of the time here, whether he has a good or bad hand. And for that reason, I decided to be a little bit more passive and just make the call for 500 with a pretty good hand. And then, well, the ungun player, he did this earlier in the session when I had jacks. He does the same thing and limp raises to $3,000. Well, that is a large raise, but hold on to your horses because the middle position player now goes all in. What is happening? The middle position player has 21,000 in his stack. And oh my goodness, how did this go from limp to re-raise, then all in for 21,000? Does this opponent even have aces or kings here doing this? It seems super unlikely, but maybe he can have pocket queens, I guess. And I don't know, just trying to figure out what's going on in my opponent's heads here. I think pocket queens is possible. Pocket jack seems too weak to commit 200 big blinds, but now action is on the cutoff, and he has been in the tank for a couple minutes now, looking like he has a really big situation. And I end up deciding, taking my time while he's thinking here, trying to be productive. I feel like I have to call my hand. If the cutoff folds, then I call. If the cutoff calls, then obviously I'm out of here, because how can this middle position player ever have a good hand after he overlimps pre-flop and now decides to just shove? I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me. It smells like ace king a lot of the time. So hey, I'm happy to flip for $20,000. Now, back to real life. The cutoff ends up folding, and now I guess I stick with the plan. Doesn't feel super comfortable with tens. It seems like the cutoff here. So I make the call for $21,000, and then the ungun player rejams his entire stack in there for about $49,000 total. This is a disaster. Is there any way that both opponents have ace king? At this point, I hate my hand with pocket tens, but I guess I'm going to gamble and have a good price. I don't know. I already called the 21,000. I have to call $27,000 on top. So basically, we're going to play a $120,000 pot with tens. That seems really, really wrong multi-way here, but I've got myself in this spot. How can I ever fold? So whatever, let's gamble. I stick in the call, and the ungun player has pocket aces, and the middle position player announces king high. So I guess it looks like I did make the right read against the middle position player, but unfortunate to run to aces. So we end up running it twice. All three of us agree to run it twice. And the first board is, well, pretty dead, sadly. Not going to win the first run out, but the second run out comes king high. So I guess the middle position player has a chance at winning, but the turn 10, no way! Oh my god, and middle position player slow rolls me with pocket kings. Oh my god. What the hell? Did not expect him to slow roll with the kings. I feel horrible, and I just end up mucking my cards. unbeknownst to me that there's a side pot at play because I got super slow rolled and tilted from the middle position player announcing king high, but then beating me. So I ended up paying everyone the side pot and the main pot, which actually isn't correct. And there's a little bit of a debacle. So I'm going to talk about that here, but I'm pretty tilted. I lose this $120,000 pot, and we are off to discussing a debacle that pertains to this hand because I never showed my cards and I ended up mucking. So I ended up actually paying the side pot, but yeah, we've got a disaster at bay.
Okay, update time. Okay, so if you watch the vlog and you watch that hand, you might be curious, and if you're like a normal person, you'll be wondering, why did I lose the full side pot when I won against aces? So I did not know this. Unbeknownst to me, I was full tilted. The other person had kings, announced king high, so I just thought that my tens were good. And when he flips over kings for top set, beating my middle set, second set, I just folded without realizing that I lost, or I would have chopped the side pot with aces, which was like 60K. I think the difference is around like $28,000. So, what happened in real time, I stopped recording, I pay him, and I just head to the cage, cash out, and then I get a call saying I might get my money back because of, well, I'm an idiot, and I just like forfeited the side pot even though I should have chopped. So the current situation is, I've been dealing with this for maybe the past like 30 minutes or an hour now. Shout out to Chino Reem, who is the opponent who had aces in this spot. He's advocating on my behalf without even me knowing. He called me at the cage asking me if I really had tens or not, because obviously then we would have chopped the side pot and he would be out of an extra $28,000. So he's advocating on my behalf of what's happening because I never tabled my hand. That's the crux of the problem, is that I mucked the tens. It was never tabled and shown, but it was shown on camera on the vlog, and he's trying to advocate for me to be able to get the $28,000 back. And now the issue is that it's up to an arbitration between his friends and my friends to figure out whether or not I should get this extra $28,000. And I'm under the assumption where it shouldn't get the money back, to be quite honest with you. I told Chino this. I think he's going above and beyond for advocating on my behalf and trying to give me my money, which hurts him to some degree because he just, gets to keep the $28,000. And yeah, I'm under the impression that I shouldn't get the money back, but it's up to an arbitration and votes, and we'll see. I'll update you guys, but at the end of the day, I'm an idiot for mucking my hand. Expensive lesson to learn, year 5 or 6 into poker now, that you should just table your hand regardless of what happens. Because sometimes you might actually have the winner, or at least you get some money back. You don't lose all the money. So that's the situation. I think I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot for calling the 20K with 10s. I'm an idiot for calling the extra 28K on top, $49,000 total with 10s. And this is the situation. So don't call 500 big blinds with 10s. Don't muck your hand when you have a set. And maybe you wouldn't be in a situation like me, where now I'm waiting to see if I get an extra $28,000 back. Like I said, whatever the result happens, I vote no. Because the rules of poker is that you have to table your hand. You show your hand to win the pot. And I shouldn't get an advantage just because I have footage on my phone because I vlog. So those are my thoughts. I'll let you guys know what the situation is. I guess we'll find out soon. So sadly, it has been about a week since that last session here, and here's the update. Sadly, do not have good news. The people that voted on the situation kind of, basically did and voted on exactly what I expected, which is me to not receive any of the money that I foolishly gave away, which hurts, unfortunately, for me. But I think that is the fair result and what I thought should have happened anyways. So sadly, I'm going to book a loss. I didn't get any of the money back, so I was in the game for about $73,000 out of the game for a total of $48,545. So that is a loss. Well, in the game for $73,800. And then I'm going to book a loss of losing $25,255. Those are the exact numbers of this session. The exact amount that I kind of gave away was about $27,000 to $28,000. So if I never made that mistake, I actually end up booking a win on the session. But I'm going to book a $25,000 loss, and that feels bad to report.
just offering full transparency of my foolish mistake. If I never just like called the 20K with 10s anyways, then I actually book a 20K win. And, you know, going from a 50K win, or that's what it seemed like for the first hour of the session, to booking a $25,000 loss, a swing of 75K is not very fun. It all came down to just two stupid hands pre-flop, the ace jack with the massive straddles, and then the 10s, and there goes all the money. So, feels bad. Losses like these really, really suck, especially for large amounts like this, and that would have helped the challenge, but hey, I guess I'm going to book the L today, and appreciate you guys for tuning in. Updated scale, updated history of how this bankroll challenge is going, this road to $1 million. This one is not going to help the progress, sadly, but hey, more sessions to come, so thank you for all the support. Hopefully, a lesson learned for watching this video. I certainly have learned one. Table your freaking hand and don't pay people money if the dealer doesn't tell you to pay it. All right, I'm going to sign off. More videos to come, more cash-ins to come. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.